Obviously, Battlefront 2 is actually pulling from all eras, not just the original trilogy. So we're getting prequel era stuff and Force Awakens era stuff. So that's like a pretty huge cast of characters to be drawing from.
Yeah, totally.
And I think
9 movies.
Yeah, I think there's some obvious characters who are going to show up. Obviously, if you've got Darth Maul, you're probably going to get Obi-Wan. You're probably going to get Anakin. That's kind of a given. I want to see General Grievous.
Yes.
First and foremost, I think it's really cool to have like humanoid characters who've got their their force powers or their special skills or whatever as heroes or villains. But it gets kind of boring when you're just playing as like a guy or a lady or whatever. General Grievous has 4 arms and 4 lightsabers and uses blasters, and he's like a crazy man who runs up walls. I don't know how you get him into a game without totally breaking it and making it completely unbalanced.
Well, he does have a weakness. He has emphysema.
Yes, that's true. But what's more exciting than having a purple lightsaber, which is what, of course, Mace Windu does? I just want to see Sam Jackson rendered in Frostbite. I just want to see a hyper-realistic 4K Sam Jackson running around doing force pushes and whatnot.
Yeah, I love this because we didn't really get a ton of Jedi in the last one. Like, for example, we never got Obi-Wan.
That was kind of weird.
Which is like, I thought even with the Death Star DLC, although his fight's not so great in A New Hope on the Death Star.
Now, other prequel character who kind of doesn't really get a ton of like praise for kind of just really being in like 2 scenes. Zam Wesell, who of course is the assassin who goes after Padme in Attack of the Clones. Turns out she's a shapeshifter, but she's got like a sniper rifle. She does a bunch of weird like. I feel like as a character, there's a bunch of video gamey stuff you could do with her, whether it's like maybe having her be like really fast or having like a cloaking mechanism or something like that.
That's the cool thing about her too, is that we don't have a ton of expectations because she's only in Attack of the Clones for a few seconds.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to sort of invent some new like attacks for her and some moves. The shapeshifting thing is very sort of interesting from the perspective of maybe she could turn into somebody that looks like she's on your team.
Yeah, I
and
think
at the last
kinda
minute
cool.
betray you. We did see that stuff with. Like Lando had that sort of double crossing mechanic that
was
worked
cool.
really well. Greedo had some similar things, so that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
she
now
has that snail.
While we're on the subject of weird assassin ladies who showed up in the prequels for a very brief amount of time, Aura Singh is a character who was kind of like she shows up for like 5 frames in Episode 1 and then proceeds to be like one of those kind of weird fan favorites. I think they kind of really engineered her to be like the prequel era Boba Fett, and that kind of worked out because she wound up being in a bunch of comics, and then she showed up in Clone Wars actually training Boba Fett. So she's got her kind of her place in the EU and in the Star Wars universe, and she's just a cool ass design. Like she's got this bald lady with a sniper rifle.
Can we go back to that picture of her real quick? She's got a chain wallet. That's odd.
It was the 90s, man.
Yeah.
Right? It was the 90s.
Yeah.
People were into that.
Yeah.
It was great. She went to Woodstock, saw Limp Bizkit. Everybody had a great time. Anyway, I'm gonna put this out there.
Let's do it. Get it done.
Jar Jar Binks. Put him in Battlefront.
Sure.
Just, no, show him on the screen. Show the frog. Just show the whole frog. Stop messing with the opacity. Just get him up there. Thank you.
Oh, there he is.
No, put him back. Put him back. Thank you. So anyway, yeah, Jar Jar,
He's so horny.
he's,
Look at him.
why'd you say that?
Because look what he's doing to that door.
Weird duck-looking Roger Rabbit character. So, yeah, he basically won the Battle of Naboo, by accident, but like, I like the idea of Jar Jar being super overpowered, but nobody wants to play as him because he's annoying. Anyway, while we're on the subject of like kind of hated characters who are too, kid-friendly and totally shouldn't be in Battlefront, but I think should.
Yes.
I want to see Wicket. I want to see Wicket running around. I want him to be just like terrifying. I want him to be like impaling people on a spear and like eating stormtroopers and just like making like skull necklaces like the Predator.
Oh, can he gnaw on that little corn nugget that he takes from Leia?
Yeah, that Luna bar.
Don't do this again.
No,
I love that idea. Like I've said this many, many times. Like the Ewok are not like just happy little teddy bears. They are murderous cannibals. So that'd be great. They play on the drums. They use the heads of their enemies as drums.
Also, I love the idea of Wicket just being like super fast.
Yeah.
Like his whole thing is like he's just hard to hit because he's just moving all over the battlefield and he's climbing trees and just ripping off heads and just getting real nasty. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, I want to see Jabba. I want Jabba to be playable. I think that would be really impressive to be like, is he like a man or a tank slug? Like
he'd be like a bullet sponge, right?
Yeah, that would be crazy. And obviously, we don't see Jabba doing a whole lot of like activity in the movies. But that's not to say that Hutts can't do that. There's actually a character who shows up in the comics who's like a terrifying, totally ripped Hutt who's got like spider legs, and he's like at one point I think he chokes somebody out.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
You're like, oh, that's right. Like,
it'd be cool.
Totally get in shape.
If he could use the same like perks and items as everybody else, and they bring back jetpacks, and we just see like a jetpack the Hutt, just flying all over the place.
It just flies off screen and explodes like one of those things in Tremors.
Or he leaves behind like a slime that everybody slips on.
Yeah.
We're not game designers.
Now, I wouldn't be your best friend if I didn't use every excuse possible to show Bib Fortuna on screen.
My man!
He's actually in this image right here. I want to see proper, I want proper Newanawanga Bib Fortuna running around Battlefront. I don't know what his deal would be. I don't know if he'd just rip you off, or he'd stab you, or
or he
just,
brings
like,
out
one-hit death, but it happens like later on.
He brings out that bowl of delicious hot frogs for everyone to gnaw.
He heals the whole team, assuming they want to eat frogs. Anyway, maybe we're getting a little bit off the beaten path here, but I think
rein it in, man.
I think we should get Owen Lars in Battlefront.
Sure.
I think that he could be great. He could be demoralizing because he'd be like, "You're never gonna get off this planet. I need your help with the moisture harvest."
I like the idea of him speaking over the match and being like, "You're down 10 kills. You're never gonna win. You're never gonna get out of this town."
Yeah, I think that's great. So anyway, also 8D8, that robot that tortures the other robots. I don't know how much good he could be against humans, but man, that would be great if he just goes around and just
foot fetishist torture.
he just tortures the gonk droids. Okay, and then finally, like we said, we're not game designers. We don't know how to make a good video game. Hopefully the fine folks at DICE can take some of our suggestions, roll them into Battlefront, and make it fantastic. I think this is a no-brainer. Dexter Jetster, owner of the grossest diner on Coruscant, I think he should run around the map giving everybody food poisoning because he's been scratching his ass and then serving food with it.
That's a great idea. He's also got 4 arms like Grievous, so they can have a big fight with each other.
Yeah, or they could do like a weird dance.
Or make out.
And this concludes what we want to see in Star Wars Battlefront 2. We're sorry.
Happy birthday.